so much. I love you so much. Don't ever die. I love you so much.
Anyway.
I do.
Episode 3.
Episode 3, and I'm having an episode.
Basically.
To be fair.
First of all. Okay, go on.
I would like to say, I want everybody to know who's listening. I went out last night, and it's the first time I've gone out since I had my daughter. I haven't felt shocking the next day. Because honestly, I must have drank about 97 gallons of water before bed. I said I'm dehydrated.
Well, the alcohol does that to you.
It does do that to you. I was pissing for fucking England. It was a nightmare.
That's crazy. I have to feel like that was... I didn't need to know that.
Oh, you did.
Anyhow.
Sorry, guys,
what is it?
She has turned into a stomach.
Yes. Lesbian Lowdown.
Lesbian Lowdown.
It is currently Sunday.
We would like to let you all know that originally this podcast was filmed yesterday. But then we realised that we got a bit...
We went a bit deep.
We got a bit too involved in one of the stories we were telling, and it went on for an hour. So don't worry, we spared you from that.
We spared you, yes.
Don't worry about it. We're obviously still going to talk about it, but I think it was the first time we've actually spoke about the situation since it happened. We had a lot to discuss.
And it was, to be fair, actually, I think in that moment I realised how traumatising it actually was, and I think I'm only just coming to terms with that. And
yeah, it was that, and also I think when you revisit that, you realise, oh wow, I really shouldn't go back, you know?
I mean, I think I already knew that, but...
I know, but that like solidifies it.
It does solidify it, but also, after I told the story, I was literally thinking...
How will I ever recover?
How will I ever recover? I mean, I'm doing well so far, but a lot of other traumatising things have happened.
So part of the lesbian lowdown of the week was, we've already done this, but her mum's hand was nearly lost to the jaws of a dog.
She nearly became an amputee.
I was about to call her an amputee. That is not what it's called.
She nearly became an amputee. And in that case, I would have had to keep her away from Molly, because she does have a bit of a fetish for people with prosthetic limbs.
No! First of all, you set that up to sound like I would like beat her up if she was an amputee, which don't cancel me.
Sexual fetish.
I've not got a sexual fetish for people who are amputees. And the thing is, this story that she's referring to, which we will get to one day, the person wasn't even an amputee. It was a mannequin arm.
Yeah, I did forget that part of the story. All I remember hearing is that prosthetic arm.
Yeah, no. It was a prosthetic arm, but it was prosthetic because it wasn't real, because it wasn't her arm. So
anyway,
we'll discuss that one week if you'd like to hear about it.
Let us know. Our Jules is out of the hospital now.
Yeah, so dog bit her hand.
She did, yeah.
Through the hand.
Straight through, yeah. And she was fine. She went to A&E, got it all stitched up. Turns out it was infected, and they stitched the infection into her. You know.
And then they had to unstitch it and get it back out.
So she was in hospital for a few days. She had an operation, didn't she? She came out, and actually...
The first thing she said was, that woman next to me was a cunt.
Yeah, and my mother does not like the C word. Very strong opinions on it. She hates it. So when she got in the car and said that, I said, she's a changed woman.
So bearing in mind, I didn't go to the hospital. Sorry, Julie, but I didn't. I sent all my well wishes. But,
she did ask about you every day.
She was telling me about this woman in the hospital next to her, and I just want to let you know that if you are listening, Julie was not wrong. You are a cunt.
Facts.
You are annoying.
And she was very rude to the hospital staff.
And that's how you know.
That's how you know.
That's how you fucking know. But yeah, that happened. Then, update on Em's car. It's not there.
It is not there. It's very broken, actually.
Em's car is gone.com. She needs to get it fixed, but is it fixable? Bob the Builder, can we fix it? Don't know.
No, we can't.
Depends on the financial situation.
It depends on the financial situation, for one. And two, I found out today that the guy that I've sent it to, who is a family friend, and is also, I haven't just sent it to a family friend, he's a mechanic. It turns out he doesn't actually really want to do it.
What do you mean?
Well, apparently he said it's a really big job. And apparently he sounded as if he didn't want to take it on. And I said, that's kind of crazy because, one, you're a mechanic. Two, I need that back. So if you can do
please, they're like my legs.
Speed the process up a little bit, because I really honestly feel like I've lost a limb.
Yeah.
It's not good. I have not driven since I was 17 years of age.
Crazy.
She did have to try and teach me how to get on the bus.
Which, by the way, is honestly the craziest thing I've ever had to experience. Like, because listen, I can't drive.
But you can't drive.
So when I have to turn around to somebody and say, not like, oh, like, how do you get car insurance? How do I get on a bus? When I get on the bus, what do I say to them? And also, if I'm single, so when do I have to say what stop I'm getting off? Also,
To be fair,
so
the
when,
advice she gave me wasn't that good. She just said get on and tap it.
that's
And I
all
said,
you
"Tap
have to do. You
what?"
literally don't even have to say anything. You walk on, you tap your card, and it just goes beep, and it counts as a single.
How
And
does it know what?
it doesn't matter where you get off. A single is a single, no matter where you go.
Oh,
You're single
stop rubbing it
everywhere.
in. I don't know. I just haven't got the bus, and sometimes it's a bit daunting, and I don't actually.
No,
I know
it's
this
more your
sounds a bit-
anxiety than anything.
Yeah.
But it's just shocking that I had to It's crazy to me that I had to explain how to use a bus, because to me it's like second nature.
The problem is, right, if I don't have to get public transport,
You won't.
I won't. And
Yes,
that
you
isn't
shouldn't.
out of like being stuck up. That's purely out of the fact that I get severely
She's scared.
bad anxiety.
Yeah.
Because I get scared that I'm going to throw up on the public transport and people are going to stare at
She
me
won't
and I
be able
can't
to
get off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could never be me. I love a tram.
Beep beep.
There's one thing you need to know about me. They don't even make that noise. There's one thing you need to know about me. Love a tram. I do like a bus.
The trams freak me out because how do they go around the bends? Like when you're sat there and it like moves around and you're like,
It's on a rail.
I know it's on a rail.
It's on a rail, and when it goes along the rail, and the rail goes around the corner, the tram also goes around the corner.
Yes, thank you.
She's learning something new every day.
Yeah, I
Do you know what my favourite form of transportation is?
I have got the train before.
What, you've never got a train?
I have.
How
That's
many
what I'm
trains?
saying.
What, like not often?
No, not often at all.
Like when you were younger and you used to go on holiday. Oh yeah, your family could drive.
Yeah.
So
So
we
I've got the
didn't
train.
have
I used
that.
to get the train every year with my nonna. For people that don't know what that is, that's my grandmother.
Nan.
Yeah. To London every year.
Yeah.
And then maybe once to Scotland. I don't know. I can't really remember.
That's so crazy to me. Because I used to. My whole life I spent it on trains.
Yeah, but if your family couldn't drive, then obviously you were gonna.
Not necessarily. I could have walked from Boston to Essex if I tried hard enough. But I chose
You didn't
not
want
to.
to.
But with all that has gone on in the world, I mean, actually, just to say that's everything that happened in Em's life.
Mhm.
Yesterday I spent about 20 minutes with frozen spoons on my eyes because I'd been crying so much that my eyeballs
Actually,
had swollen, and it did work.
It was really weird because Mo always says to me like if I ever want to come to hers while she's not here, the door's open. Like she'll leave the door open for me or leave me a key. So I was like, bearing in mind,
I've only just realised what you're about to say.
when I was like, we were obviously supposed to be recording the podcast, so I came round while she was dropping her daughter off at her sister's house.
Mm-hmm.
And she texted me, or did you ring me?
I rang you.
You rang me and you said, can you put some spoons in the freezer? And I said,
You said
Sorry?
teaspoons or tablespoons, and I said 2 teaspoons per quart.
so I put these spoons in the freezer, and I didn't really know what they were for. I just assumed like she had some strange thing that she liked to do with spoons.
You've got some spoons in the freezer so I can scoop ice cream and it'll still be cold.
So I put these spoons in the freezer. She gets back and she's like, "Where are my spoons?" I said, They're in the second drawer." She gets them out. I turn around. She's got them on her eye sockets. I said, "What are you doing?"
It did work though, didn't it? Swelling went.
I don't know. Did it? I
Yeah,
just
it
remember
did.
putting concealer on you.
Yeah, I had spoon eyes, and it works. So if you've ever been crying so much, do you know what? It doesn't. The thing is, I'm not a crier. So the fact that I even had a crying moment this weekend
It is
was
shocking
crazy.
when you do cry because 1, you don't cry. 2, you never cry in front of people.
And 3, when I cry, I cry.
Do you remember that time I stayed at your house?
What, I knew I had a full on. Oh, about my granddad.
No.
No, yeah. Em stayed over.
This was when I still lived in Devon.
Yeah, and I woke up.
Bearing in mind, I have really bad anxiety.
So she was in my bed, and my roommate was in her bed, and my daughter was in her bed.
We were all in our own beds.
Well, no, you were in my bed. So she was staying for a sleepover, and I woke up to go get my daughter, and I looked down at my phone, and I had a message from my mum saying, "Grandad has passed away." Right? Now listen, I ain't good with handling any sort of news as it is, but it was like 5 in the AM. I said, well, now what? I'm just sat with my daughter reading her a book trying to get her back to sleep, like, what do I do? Anyway, she finally settles back down, and I got out of the room and I was thinking,
I'm
really
sad.
No, it weren't even that. I was like, I really don't know what. I feel like I need to tell somebody this information because I'm just upset
The
by
obvious
myself.
choice would have been to come back in to me, her best friend, wake me
Wakey,
up,
wakey.
and tell me.
Yeah, but
no.
so I didn't want to wake you up. But I went into my roommate's room, because I heard her, so I thought she was awake. I walked in and she was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And she was like, "That's all right. You okay?" And I went, "My granddad's dead." And she said, "Huh?" I said, "My granddad's dead." She said, "Get in." I climbed into her bed, and the thing is, I wasn't even like proper crying. I was just like,
You weren't really sure.
I was really upset. Obviously, my granddad had died. But then I had turned around to my roommate. So Em was only visiting, like, and she had to go home the next day. And I turned around to my roommate, and I was like,
bearing in mind, hang on, I woke up and no one was in the bed.
Yeah.
And I said, "Terrible news. Where's she gone?"
Yeah. So I'm in my roommate's bed, and I just turned around and I said, "I'm not going to tell Em that my granddad's died because I don't want her to feel awkward." Because you do, don't you? Do you know when somebody's like, "Oh, you know, like somebody's died," and then you have to leave? Like, it's just awkward because you're going to be like, "Oh, I've got to go now.
I have to leave."
Yeah. So I was like, "Well, I don't want to tell her." But she walked in as I was saying it, and she was like, "Don't tell Em what?"
I said, "Excuse me."
Yeah. And then I went, and then I panicked, and I went, "Oh, my granddad's dead." And then
you, at that point, you were shedding some tears.
And then
or you had been crying.
And there was 3 of us spooning in bed.
We were, yeah.
Yeah.
I said, "Terrible news, let me join."
Which was crazy, because I was the big spoon. So how did that even happen?
Where was I? I was on the end.
You was in the middle.
Was I?
Yeah, and Leash was the end, which is crazy.
Mm.
But I just thought, my granddad's dead. If a spooning is happening, why am I the biggest one out of 3?
Because you don't like to be touched.
No, I don't like to be touched. You're not wrong, but that's fucking crazy.
You said somebody
You said,
me.
"Oh my god, I can't believe your granddad's died. Spoon me."
I said, "Fine."
But yeah, that was crazy. But good news, and this is the biggest news of the week, and I want everybody to please look at this camera and just know that this is the biggest, bestest thing that has ever happened to anyone. Big Tesco, Bulwell, back open, guys. Back open. The sides of it fell off, but they have now recovered. Somebody was shopping for their spring greens, and next thing you know, nearly shot out the fucking window. But
and
now,
if you don't know Big Tesco Bulwell, get to fucking know.
Yeah.
Because Big Tesco Bulwell is the absolute shit.
It is the shit. There is not a Tesco like it.
There's not a Tesco like it.
It's just a beautiful, beautiful place.
And I must say, I actually miss Big Tesco Bulwell, because I used to live in Bulwell. We used to live 5 minutes down the road. We didn't know each other, but we did.
Mm.
And that was my favourite place to go. And do you know what? Since I haven't been back, and I'll tell you pourquoi. Trauma. But yeah, I do miss it, and I would love to pay it a visit sometime.
Well, you should before it blows off again.
But
honestly, I think it really did ruin lives. When they shut Big Tesco Bulwell.
Terrible news. The cat's doing a madness.
When they shut Big Tesco Bulwell, my girlfriend, it was the end of the world. You'd have thought it was like it would be
for anyone in Bulwell, to be honest.
Honestly, the way she was like, "Well, I don't even see the point in leaving the house anymore." I was like, "It's just
you get your meal deals from Tesco every day,
exactly.
Then what?" But
she said, "I want a Monster, but I want it to be included in a £3 deal."
Yeah, I like she would.
Yeah.
I heard they've rearranged everything though.
They have rearranged everything, and it's ruined everyone's lives.
Facts. I hate it when they do that, because why?
Why have you done that then?
And also, like I said to you, we did say this yesterday, but how are you going in one Tesco, right? Everything's in a good order, like, it's all nice. Then you go in the one down the road.
It's all gone wrong, all different.
You've got the oranges next to the whiskey. And I just think, what's happening?
Let me tell you something.
Oh, here she goes.
It's important. I've got a bone to pick with TK Maxx.
Oh, don't, because I always shit myself in there.
Because talking about... That's crazy. Talking about oranges near whiskey, TK Maxx will have, like, a bag of, like, penis pasta next to, like, you can use this as your nan's urn. You know what I mean? There's just shit. Why is it like that?
I don't know, but you know what? TK Maxx is one of Julie's favourite shops.
Yeah, I don't dislike TK Maxx, but I feel like, have you ever seen those pictures where none of it is a thing?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They do them TikToks. And
where
like,
you like try and like work out what it is. That's what I feel like when I go into TK Maxx. I feel like I've walked into TK Maxx and nothing is real. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what it is about TK Maxx, right? But whenever I step, and it's within the first 5 seconds of getting in there, my stomach takes a turn. And it says, I don't ever let it happen, but it does.
You have a bad track record of controlling your bumhole, so honestly.
One time.
Yeah. I just thought I'd bring that up because it does really bother me. Because I just think there's no I'm not an organised girl, but there is no organisation there. I go to pick up a t-shirt, I turn round, and there's like a vase in the shape of like an arsehole. And I'm like,
arsehole vase.
I don't want that. Yeah.
Next time you see one of them, can you get it for me, please?
The arsehole
I feel like that'd be very fitting
yeah, you
for
could
me.
put one singular sunflower in the slot.
That would work for me. Any other news?
Yeah. This isn't really like a lesbian lowdown of the week because it's not something that happened to me, but it's something I've been wishing to discuss with you.
Okay.
I said, this is something for the pod.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Facebook And I did that thing where I joined loads and loads of groups, like when I
love doing
first
that.
started Facebook,
Mm.
and I must have done it within like the past few years as well. And I'm in this group called "Are We Dating the Same Person?"
Ooh.
Oh. So I was like, interesting. Let me have a little looky look. Every single person posted on there is dating somebody else.
Terrible news.
And I have no faith in humanity now.
I just don't think I had any faith in humanity before, to be honest.
Honestly, I trust my girlfriend to the ends of the earth, but when I saw this page, I started side-eyeing her a little bit. I was thinking, oh, if I take a picture of your sofa and somebody else has been sat on it in the past 5 days, I'm going to be mad.
It'd be Alicia, like, I was there.
I don't know why 5 days is my limit, considering we've been together for half a year, but if it was in the last 5 days, it'll make me extra mad.
I feel like that would be... We need a lesbian one of those.
A lesbian one of those would be the most helpful thing ever, because lesbians know lesbians.
And if you don't know, someone you know will know. Because we're all connected in some way or another.
Not me, though.
That's kind of crazy. But anyway,
I
I feel like that would have been super helpful.
Yeah, for her, like, yeah.
In my previous relationship.
Because there was another person. You were dating the same person.
We did find a whole other person.
I wonder if you put a picture of this girl, we will call her Emma.
Yeah, Emma.
If you put a picture of Emma up there, if there would be more
I feel
people,
like there would be so many.
I feel like there's going to be like a good 6.
Yeah, I feel like there would be so many.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Because she was just...
A lot of things happen.
Once again, just like the prosthetic arm story, we will delve into that one day.
You'll have to let us know. This was my most recent breakup.
And it went terribly badly. Honestly.
I still have whiplash.
You have whiplash?
Yeah.
I mean, I was fucking confused.
Yeah,
I was just watching.
And
it doesn't
take much to confuse me.
Either way, we're a bit fucked. But yeah, something she'll go into one day. I feel like it can be helpful for a lot of people in that situation.
I feel like it could be really helpful, but it's also
I feel like as well, it's still a bit fresh.
It's very fresh.
I feel like in a month's time, because we will still be doing this until the day we die, apparently. I think one day we show a picture. Who else was shagging this girl?
I feel like that's dangerous.
Who else was fucking Emma?
I feel like you'll get the best version out of me when I have
healed
and moved on.
Yeah, because right now it's fresh. She's upset.
Still fresh. And you know what? I'm not afraid to admit I still have feelings for the girl. So, terrible news. But I am taking the necessary healthy steps to heal.
I thought you was about to say I am taking drugs.
I am part of the 12-step program of recovering from narcissistic behaviour.
Currently in denial stage. I don't know what's happening.
Oh no, I went through the denial stage. I'm now in
You went through a denial stage for 2 years. Denial?
Yeah. Denial? What stage am I at now? I feel like acceptance.
Not even acceptance, just a bit like...
Meh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, terrible news.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But yeah, that interested me a bit. Because then I was thinking, like you said, that it would be really, really good for lesbians. But then
I think we should ask the people.
Should we create a lesbian, are we dating the same person page? Be honest.
Yeah. Let us know.
I would be fucking fuming if I posted a picture of
Do you know what makes me laugh? I'm going to say this now. Because I feel like people would get upset, right? Because let's say I posted about my previous relationship and I put screenshots out there.
Yeah.
I feel like said person will get upset that I put those screenshots out there.
Don't be a dickhead though.
Exactly. If people don't have the facts, then there's nothing to believe. But if you've got the facts and you've got the evidence, what can you do? It's your behaviour. You have to accept it and move on.
Take responsibility for your actions, guys. Part of my weekly What the Fuck. I'm Alex.
No, you're Molly.
Oh. That was the shittest joke you've ever told. Do you know what? That's actually pissed me off. Actually made me angry. Why have you said that then?
Why
it's a very serious topic though. I'm Alex is a YouTuber. He's an ugly little rat. I've showed you a picture before.
Okay.
He is an ugly man.
Mm-hmm. And
he was with a girl called Alice, who I don't know how he pulled, honestly. I mean, not as pretty as my girlfriend. I'm not getting myself in trouble. she released like an 85, 86 page document or something on Twitter.
Oh, I love a document.
It was like a statement that exposed all of his abuse. He was an abusive, ugly little looking rat. He looks like he could chew through like an electric fence. Like that's the way his teeth are. Crazy. Anyway, I don't know why I felt the need to tell you that.
I was going to say that was crazy descriptive words, but carry on.
But anyway, he's responded to that. So this all came out a year ago. He went off the internet. He's now responded. He did a 2 hour, well, nearly 2 hour thing of but I want you to know that I didn't watch the video because I didn't want to give him the views, so I watched somebody live tweet about it. I said, I am not watching him.
I am not contributing to
One
his fame.
view could change everything.
You're not wrong. So guys,
watching, guys, like and subscribe, share to your friends, put it in the family group chat. Maybe not your family.
do it. Show it to your grandmothers.
Show it to your nan. Love you.
And your great nan.
And shout out to the nans. Shout out to the nans. Anyway, this isn't a funny situation.
No, it's not funny.
So
Domestic violence, not funny.
Not a joke. But he's basically said for an hour and 45 minutes, that wasn't, yeah, I did that. Well, no, he didn't even say, yeah, I did that. He was just like, well, she hit me. She hit me a couple of times. But then when she's released all of these documents, it's been like, well, I hit him because he would like pin me down. And do you know what I mean? So and she has also admitted multiple times that she has done things she is not proud of.
What I'm hearing is that he is a cunt.
Yeah, and it's all reactionary abuse. I think that not that Alice is fucking golden.
Should discuss that. You should discuss that because I don't think people are aware of that.
So reactionary abuse is when if you're in a bit of a it doesn't even have to be domestic violence, but especially in domestic violence, if somebody every single day is abusing you and you get to the point where you're fighting back, or when it becomes your norm. So say you're in a healthy relationship, a normal argument will be like, you know, you try to have a conversation, it turns into an argument, you eventually resolve it, done. When you're in a domestic violence situation, you fly off the handle off of nothing. There's no resolve, it's just about winning. Do you know what I mean? It's not, oh well, I just want to sort it out. The end goal is to win, or the end goal is to belittle the other person, whatever. Reactionary abuse comes when, say, it doesn't even have to be months and years of it happening, but it usually is, where you've been abused in a relationship. You get to a point where you snap. Do you know what I mean? You snap back and you stoop to their level because that's normal for you. So that's like healthy for you. But like, say somebody had turned around to you and like he said to her, I'm gonna like smash your skull in with a brick or something. And then he's like,
psychotic babe.
Yeah, and then he'll say something like, she used to always pick on my insecurities and call me fat. Which, obviously, is not good. That's not a healthy thing to do. But you said you were going to cave her head in with a brick. So when this happened, she would be like, I don't care if you fuck off and die. Because she's trying to, like, protect herself. So she's, not that it's the right thing to do, but that's reactionary abuse. Yeah. You fire back, do you know what I mean? Because you're trying to protect yourself. Because if you don't have any power there, because that's all domestic abusers want, is power. It's power trip. When they fire back, it's like holding on to something, you know what I mean? But it's crazy. And if you're ever in that situation, because I found myself in it once, and I don't want to be in it again, run. Leave whilst you can. Yeah. It's very good.
And do you know what, as well? Do you know what I hate more than anything? Narcissists. Narcissists. I do. I really hate narcissists.
Once again, Emma.
Because I just think if a narcissist, right, will never admit to the behaviour that has caused you to react.
Yeah.
Ever.
100%, yeah.
And it makes you feel like a fucking psychopath.
It don't even just make you feel like a psychopath. When you're a normal-headed person, and when you're sane, you feel guilty, you feel bad.
Yeah.
Narcissists don't feel bad. They treat you the way they treat you. Like, they could be like, but I'm sorry, and they can cry. That's what he used to do. He used to send voice notes being like, well, it will never happen again. I love you so much. I only did this because of it. And then she would go back because she felt bad, and then he'd be like, I'm going to cave your skull in with a brick. And he also said he's going to break a cat's neck, and I thought that's very specific. I don't know, I was thinking, do cats have necks?
I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny.
No, but then I didn't. I was thinking, do cats have necks? And I was thinking that's a very stupid question.
Of course they do.
I know. Well, not that one, apparently. No, that's really nasty. No, it does. He didn't do it in the end. Not that.
Well, I would fucking hope not. Poor innocent little animal.
You know, it's called Bear. Shout out to Bear.
Shout out to Bear the cat.
Shout out to Bear. Hope your neck's good.
Hope you're alive and well.
No, it's not funny.
No, it's not.
It's not funny. I'm sorry. We can't speak about things seriously. This is the issue.
Basically, we react because we're traumatised.
We react. It's reactionary humour.
Yes.
Instead of reactionary abuse.
Yes. We are not abusive, but we do react with humour.
Yeah,
it's not good.
No, we deflect with humour. That's the way to be.
We do. And this is why when we cry, we cry.
We have literally said on multiple occasions, we giggle ourselves into a pickle.
Yeah, we do.
We laugh to the point where we're in trouble.
And that happens quite frequently too.
Anyway.
Anyhow.
Any do.
Any what?
Any do.
Who, what, where, when. Anyway.
We realised that
I have to look at her because I never really know what's going to come out of her mouth.
My tongue. So, because we realised we've got all these segments, and the segments do work, and you're enjoying the segments, but we actually forgot that, you know, podcast people want to hear stories, so this is our little story time corner.
I have a good
because
story.
and honestly, let me tell you, this story that Em is going to tell is the funniest thing I have. Honestly, I'm tearing up. I'm not even laughing.
She's fucking
I'm not
crying
even
already.
laughing. I've skipped laughing and gone straight to crying. It's that funny. Just the memory of it is nostalgic.
She finds this funnier.
Honest to
than the time
God,
I shit my pants.
I have never ever laughed like it. I have never, because I just want to say, for context, before this story even starts, I found out this whole thing with a text that just started with, just had the weirdest thing happen to me. Okay.
Are you ready?
Are you sitting comfortably?
Get your popcorn. Get your Red Bull. It's about to begin. Right, okay. So for context, right, we're selling our house. This is when I lived in Devon with my parents. She's off already. It's not good.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so when you sell your house, you have to go through. You have to go through multiple phases. So
you're gonna have to do a laugh count of how many times.
So the people come and view your house, and then once the sale has been agreed, the people send a surveyor round. Now, this was our second surveyor that came round. There was already a man that had come round, lovely geezer. Yeah, a bit of a cunt, but
second time lucky, guys.
Second time around. I'm in the house by myself, working from home, as you do. Everyone else is out. Okay? So this guy comes in. Comes in, and they always take their shoes off. I don't fucking know why. I don't know if they do it to be respectful or what, but they take their shoes off, right? So he takes his shoes off. Off I go upstairs. I'm like, yeah, do whatever you need to do, mate. I'll be upstairs. If you need me, give us a shout. So off I trot back up to my bed. Obviously, I'm working from home. I work in bed. So anyway, he comes strolling up the stairs, and we've got like a little airing cupboard. It's tiny, but to get in the loft, you need one of these poles, and you have to jam it. You have to jam it up to get the loft hatch open. And he says, Emmy, where's the fucking stick? Well, he didn't swear.
Emmy, where's the fucking stick?
He didn't swear. He said, Emmy, where's the stick thing that opens the loft? And I said, oh, it's in here, mate. So off I go. I get this stick. And you open the door, right, and it opens away from you. And he was stood behind the door. Okay? So I get this stick out. I close the door. And this guy is laid down on his back. And I said, you all right, mate?
Oh, God. Can I please just preface this when she was telling me the story? When she was telling me the story, she said, well, I closed the door and I thought he'd gone. It turns out it was just on the floor.
You don't expect to close the door where you are to find someone laying on your floor on the landing. I thought I was still looking at the same height, and he disappeared. And I said, terrible news.
She said he's a magician as well as a surveyor.
Anyway, so it turns out he's laying on the floor on his back, and I said, oh, I was looking down at him. I said, you all right, mate? And he said, oh, I've gone a bit funny. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, I'm feeling a bit faint. Can you hold my feet? I said, sorry. And he said, yeah, this happens sometimes. Can you hold my feet? Me, being the people pleaser that I am, said,
yeah, but the thing is, I know you didn't even question it. You went, all right.
I said, yeah, okay.
His legs up in the air.
Yeah, so you know when people elevate their legs when they go lightheaded? This is what's going on. So he says, can you hold my feet? And I said, okay. So I stand there with his feet for a good 5 minutes, and I didn't know where to look, so I was just looking out the bathroom window at the time. Just holding his feet, and I said, can I get you some water or anything while I'm here? And he said, no, don't worry, this happens all the time. I said, I think you ought to find another job. You can't be passing out in people's gaffs.
Imagine if he was in the loft when it happened.
I'd have tumbled out the hole. Anyway, so we stand there for another good 10 minutes. I was thinking, how long do I have to stand here for then? Because this is just
Surely
strange.
now all of the blood's just rushed to
I
your
know.
head.
So anyway, after about 10 minutes, he says, all right, that's good now. He said, you can let go. So I drop his legs and off he goes. I said, this is fucking
No
crazy.
shoes on, socks in the loft, off he popped.
Honestly, I was like, this is so strange.
But I had messaged, so at the time, when Emmy lived in Devon, there was not 20 minutes went by that we did not message each other.
Not 5 minutes.
Exactly. So she had been gone at this point for like an hour. I had messaged her, she hadn't replied. I said, are you okay? The weirdest things happened to me. What? Just had to hold a man's legs in the air. I said, huh? No, he was in me landing. I said, what man? I said, what's happened? And she was like, yeah, it was terrible. The surveyor came round and he was there 1 minute. The next he weren't. And then the third thing was I was holding his legs in the air. So why'd you do that? She went, oh, I feel bad for him, he was dizzy.
Well, I did. I was imagine feeling faint in someone else's gaff. Do you know what I mean? I mean, to be honest, he says it happens all the time, so it can't bother him that much.
So funny,
but I
though.
also then text our Jules, and I said, Julie, terrible news. I've had to hold the surveyor's legs for 15 minutes.
And then they had the audacity to say there was something wrong with your life.
Yeah.
Focus on yourself.
And I
Worry
thought,
about yourself, mate.
The audacity of you. Really, I could have you for that, because I don't think it's probably not the best looking thing to happen.
Yeah.
When you have to go around people's houses all the time if you're fainting every 5 minutes.
That was so funny. It was just so funny. Because when somebody says the weirdest thing has happened to me, you think, like, oh, I put something down and it disappeared or something.
Well, they found a mouldy tomato.
Not you left a man standing and came back to him legs akimbo. I mean?
It was just so strange. I looked away, and when I looked back, he was there with his legs in the air, and I said, terrible news, what's happening here?
This cannot be.
So
Put your legs in the air.
About someone coming around your gaff when no one else is in. That's the worst that can happen.
You should be worried, because this could happen.
And you know what, as well? I will say, his legs were quite heavy.
Yeah. I think after 15 minutes, anyone's legs would be heavy.
And he didn't even say thank you. And I just think, really, if someone's holding your legs for that long, the least you can do is say thanks.
And he just said, I'll be up the loft then. You know what I mean?
And then they told us the roof was broken and that it might put the sail off. And I said, you little bastard. Hold your own legs next time.
Fuck you.
Fact.
But apparently, if you're an amputee, you're just my type, so I'll hold your legs in the air anytime, love.
Well, one of them. She doesn't like to.
Right. Well, not picky. Did I tell you about that, by the way? That time when my friend set me up on a blind date, and when I'd come back to the girl's house, she just took her leg off. And I said, because she was like, oh, I'm going to get a bit more comfortable. So in my mind, she's taking her knickers off.
Wow,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But I've turned round, and she's took off a limb, but I didn't know, and then I felt awful because I came underprepared. So she was like, let me get a bit more comfortable.
Then you didn't bring a spare leg?
Yeah, maybe. But she was like, let me get a bit more comfortable. I'm thinking, oh, the date's already gone well to this point, do you know what I mean? Thinking, here she goes. And she stands up.
Not going to appreciate this story.
No, but she stands up. I thought, what's this, a striptease? And then I said, as her leg. I went, fair enough, mate. And she went, did she not tell you? And I said, no. She was like, oh, did that scare you for a minute? Did you think my leg fell off? And I was like, well, no, I can't get what was happening.
I just thought it fell off.
But then
She got gout.
But then it really threw me off. So then I was like, not that it threw me off like it's a bad thing, but I was just like, oh, I didn't know this was happening. So I felt a bit like, oh, well, now I feel like I need to like mention it, because it'd be weirder because I didn't know. But I feel like it'd be weirder if she took a leg off and I just acted like that was just something that happens. I mean, so I was like, oh, you got one leg. And she was like, oh yeah, did she not tell you? And I was like, no. And she was like, oh, were you scared my leg fell off her? And I was like, oh no, I just didn't know what to say. And she was like, well, it'd be weird not to say anything. And I was like, I know, but now we're having this conversation and I feel very bad.
I just think, you know, if I was in that situation,
Yeah.
I'd have just stood there. I'd have said, oh.
Yeah, but you're a people pleaser. You'd have took your own leg off. You just said, I don't want you to feel left out.
I'd have said, let me hold your other one.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying though. So, but yeah, that one, yeah, that was crazy. I'll have to talk.
Renault's in that bloody box again.
She loves the box.
She does love the box.
Loves the box.
Shall we discuss the TikTok dramas?
There is TikTok drama. I feel like you will know more about this than me.
I don't know that much, but I have seen it a few times. The dramas
Hang
is...
on. Lesbian alert. This is the gay part of the podcast.
Okay,
You know,
yes.
all of it is gay.
Yes.
But this is a very, very gay part of
this
the
is
podcast.
lesbian TikTok.
Lesbian TikTok. Let me tell you why. It's about two lesbians.
Yes.
Are they both gay?
Yes.
Or is one of them like bi?
No, I'm pretty sure they're both gay.
Lesbian drama, guys.
Also, can we just
Lesbian
discuss what the
drama.
fuck is going on with Libby May?
Oh, you're right, because, speaking of, earlier I was on TikTok scrolling through. She got the most mismatched outfit on.
Well,
And
I
she
wasn't
is
even talking
also
about-
like, tanned to a point where it can't be good. With the whitest teeth you've ever fucking seen.
I just think it's crazy because at one point she was like the lesbian of TikTok.
Yeah, but now she keeps saying she's got a fella,
I
but then
know.
also she's not got a fella. I think she just does it for views.
I just can't keep up.
But
I mean, I'm just awfully confused about the whole
yeah,
situation.
I just think her face now. She had like a really tan face and she's got really white teeth. It looks like a mahogany oak table with like an apple sticker stuck on it. That is exactly what it looks like. And she's like, for my outfit tonight, guys, I've got, and then it'll be like a bright blue blazer. Bright blue blazer.
She's
Try
a-
to say that 3 times
Bright blue
fast.
blazer.
You said that once, she can't count. But she'll be wearing that with like Nike Tech bottoms. I just think,
It's not right, is it?
whether it's a man or a woman who wants you.
Talking to me then, I said that's kind of
Well,
crazy.
if that's something you would wear, I would say the same thing.
No, I would never. But also, yeah, I just can't keep up with her. But anyway, what we were going to talk about was
It does relate to that though,
Yeah.
because Katie Lee is Libby May's ex.
Katie Lee is, from what I've seen, now single.
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 Single girl.
Now, I'm not up to date with everything, but I have seen the whole drama about Grace moving on too fast.
Yeah, so let's just preface, if you don't know who these people are, Katie Lee and Grace were two gay people who were both on TikTok.
I'm not talking about the first Grace, I'm talking about the second Grace.
Grace Ramsden, is it Ramsden?
Yeah.
Anyway,
The first-
they've been together, they hadn't been together that long, 18 months I think, 2 years. I know that they both went on to GK Barry's podcast, Saving Grace, and they were talking about their relationship. They moved in together after like 6 months, like got a house together, they were going to go travel.
Well, she already had the house.
Yeah.
She bought the house with her ex, didn't she?
Yeah, but then they bought their own house as well. And
yeah.
So they were youthful lesbians, they moved quick. But I think Katie Lee's quite a bit younger than Grace. Not in like a weird younger way, but like...
Yeah, like standard.
Yeah, but I think like Grace is maybe 26 or 27. I think Katie Lee's 21, 22.
I don't know how old she is. I know she's younger.
So then they released this video, and Katie Lee released it, I think, saying they're both crying, and everyone thought, incredible news, they're having a baby. And then they said, we're breaking up. And everyone said, terrible news, they're not having a baby. And then it was, but she did say in it, it's a big weight off my shoulders that everyone knows. So I'm assuming it was a long time thing. But yeah, now they're not together, and it's just crazy. But then, hang on, let me bring something up.
Going, hang on.
People were commenting, well, now, and I get it, but also I don't get it. People were commenting, no, you two have broken up. I can never believe in love. You two are my ideal couple. I thought you were in it for the long haul. Now listen to me right now. If two TikTokers, and they were lovely, they're lovely girls, but if two TikTokers breaking up is going to be the reason you no longer believe in love, I think that maybe you need to take a long, hard look at yourself and take that look at yourself in a mirror in a therapist's office, because this is not correct.
No.
You can't be dealing with things like this.
No. So let's unpack this, because I feel like Grace is getting a lot of hate right now. I just think, right, I know we've had this conversation about people that put themselves out there, people should get privacy, blah, 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 and people are invested or whatever.
Yeah,
but guys, people break up.
Yeah, shit happens.
I've just been broken up with. She's been broken up with before. Not currently. She is happy.
Hell, I thought she was just breaking the news to me. Terrible
but
news.
People break up. And I get it. It's sad. People shit people. You know, but it happens. Let's just let them get on with their lives. They're both lovely people.
They might be going through really bad things, such as shit in the bed after the breakup.
And it sounds like they broke up very amicably.
Yeah, they're still amicably. In fact, she posted a video the other day. Katie Lee posted a video being like, well, I don't know if it's the same Grace, but she was like, oh, Grace said she's going to the gym and I went with her. And she was just talking, like, so casually. They are still friends. It's not.
So I just think creating these dramas and having these reactions is all well and good, but it also puts a lot of pressure on the people that are in question. Just let them be.
To be fair, even if she has moved on, she is single.
Facts.
It
and
might
not
be
being
soon,
funny,
but she is a
but
single
people
lady.
move on fast.
Yeah.
Like, and we don't know when they actually broke up. We know when they released their breakup video.
Yeah.
But they may have broken up a week, a month, a year before. We don't know.
Yeah.
Anything could happen.
So relax.
Just chill out.
And yeah, it's shit because like when they did the other podcast, like they're doing this one.
Come
When
on
they
our
did the
podcast,
podcast,
guys.
they were very much in.
Terrible
But then
news. I'm not prepared.
other people were commenting saying this is a problem with today's generation. When there's a problem, they just break up. They don't try and fight for it. You don't know what they've been doing.
You don't know. If someone said that to me about my last relationship, I would say you don't know what I've endured.
And plus, like, shut up. It's nothing to do with you.
Facts.
I know we're talking about it, and it's nothing to do with us, but it's nothing to do with you.
We're not gossiping. We're letting the people know that they don't need to.
Even though I did start this off with lesbian drama.
We're just providing a very mutual, very
neutral, not mutual,
very neutral opinion.
Yeah,
because we just think people break up.
It's nobody's fault.
They're only young,
and they both said in the breakup video they were like, we're in two different places.
Yeah, but that happens.
Exactly that. But yeah, that's kind of partly of the weekly what the fuck, even though they broke up months ago. But the drama has been feral.
I did see a video on it earlier on TikTok, actually.
Yeah, but a bit nervous, like when I had to get my friend to shave my vagina whilst I was pregnant because I couldn't see over me bump and I didn't want to shave a flap off. These things do happen, love.
I wasn't around then, otherwise it probably would have been me.
It would have been.
Anyway,
in fact, no, it wouldn't have been you because you would have got your fucking thingy on it.
What?
Your trimmer and your
my epilator.
Yeah, no, what is it?
Oh, my dermaplaning.
Yeah.
Fuck that, I'm not dermaplaning anyone's vagina, not even my own.
Do you know what I was thinking the other day? How long do you reckon it would take me to tweeze every pube individually? And would I feel smoother?
Do you want to know something really funny?
You've done that before.
I've tried it.
How long did it take?
It took so long. And I got really bad backache.
I'm scared I'll accidentally tweeze my clit off.
No, but actually it really fucking hurts.
Well, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
I've got really bad backache. You need an ice pack on your flaps afterwards, yeah. You know what I mean?
No, I did. I had to keep stretching because my back hurt that much.
I feel like I kind of want to fuck with it though.
Try it.
Because it's coming up. This is big news for me. Coming up is going to be the first time I have multiple days.
She gets fingered.
I don't know what's just happened there. I don't know what's just possessed this woman.
Not by me, by Georgia.
Anyway, that's not what I was saying. It's going to be my first time for like a long period. It's going to be my first time for like a long period where I'm child free. So I might just spend a day just tweezing my pubes.
She said first.
I'm going to go toes to eyebrows.
Toes to tits.
Toes to tits. My girlfriend turned around to me. She said, bearing in mind until we go out last night, right? We go out last night. And, you know, if we're going for a wee, we'll go together. We'll go into the cubicle together.
Yeah, as you do.
We've gone in. She goes, Mum, look at this. She starts taking off the top. I said, oh. So I said, oi, oi. And then we got to the bra. I said, hang on. And she starts pulling it down. I said, tee. And she said, I've got a boob hair. And it started to curl. I said, what? She said, look at this. She said, look how long that is. She said, I saw it the other day and I was going to tweeze it, but I want to see how long it can get. I said, impressive. I said, if she can grow 3, I'll braid it.
Facts.
Why does that happen?
I don't know. Sometimes our bodies just do random things. I have to shave mine sometimes.
What, your tits?
Mm.
I really looked at mine properly in a while.
I mean, you don't get yours out very often.
No, I don't. Apart from when, can you remember what? So, guys, this is in the educational part of the pod. You should always check your boobs for lumps.
You
and
should.
your armpits.
Serious business.
Feel your tits.
Okay.
There is a word for that, isn't there? What is it?
Check yourself.
Yeah, check yourself before you wreck yourself with cancerous cells. But I had to go to the doctors.
Terrible news, actually. It was the most hilarious situation, but the actual situation was not funny, not even a little bit.
So I had to go to the doctors. And me and Em we're not even codependent, but we just thought, fuck it, we'll make a day trip. I had to go to the doctors. I found a lump.
We are codependent. She also came with me to my smear test.
On the same day. So she went for a smear test.
I went for my smear.
I went for my smear test. She went for her first smear test.
I did.
I went with her.
The woman invited her behind the curtain,
yeah, which is crazy because she was like saying, "Are you sexually active?" And she was like,
"Not really,
not really at the minute." And when I am, it's with
not happened.
Women.
Mm-hmm.
And then she looked at me like I was just like playing hard to get, and we were together, and I just weren't letting you put one in. And
well,
I went,
wouldn't, to be fair.
I went, it's not me. Then she lays her down, spread you open like something right.
Smear
you know
tests
what
are
I mean?
fucking horrible.
Not that I saw that, but apparently
Do you remember when she said, I can't find it?
She couldn't find her womb, guys. Fucked off.
She said, I know it's in there somewhere.
She said it's
"Bloody hope
tilted.
so."
She said it's tilted, which is hilarious because you were at like a fucking 90-degree angle, legs up in the air, opened like the gates of hell. It ain't right.
I had to have my hands under my bum.
She couldn't get the lid off, whatever. Anyway,
We're veering.
So she invites me behind the curtain, and I said, "No, love, that'd be close me in that." If you had asked me to, I'd have been there, but I just thought
I would have made you stand at the head end anyway, because I just think you don't need to see that.
She's hard, yeah, fucking hell.
Like, there's seeing my vagina, and then there's seeing my womb.
I need you to say, this is the funniest thing I've ever heard a doctor say. She said, "Smear's done, got the swabs, looks a bit thrushy." I said, "You can't use that as an adjective." Looks a bit thrushy in there.
I said, "But I did."
And you said, "It's a recurring problem."
In fact.
Anyway, yeah. So then we had to go to my boob check.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a male doctor, not a problem. You also have to have a chaperone, so there's another woman who just pops in midway through. Well, she got whacked as a doctor. But I was like... So anyway, we get there. She's talking to me about some... I don't know, he was just asking a lot of questions, weren't he? And I was just a bit like, I was a bit scared.
She wasn't even answering them, I was.
Yeah, which made it so funny. He just turned around and was like, "Have you got anything to add to her?" She was like, "Not bad, it."
I said, "Yes, I do, actually."
She's losing weight rapidly and we don't know it. Anyway, so
She
behind this
stopped
curtain, let me tell you, I don't know why this was so funny to me, but obviously I've had my tits out for about 15 minutes at this point, with this man fondling me in every way he can, because he has to, and it's his job. He was very professional. Asked for consent the whole way through. Consent is key. Anyway, so he's had me arms in the air. I look like fucking Superman at one point, one behind my chest, one up there. And he went, "That's good, because they go asymmetrical when you do that. They don't just stay both in the same place." I said, "Well, I ain't being funny. One's about in my ear, the other one's about down at my knee at the minute." Anyway, so then he goes, "Yep. And you could tell he was a bit of a socially awkward man. And he went, yeah, swizzle my nipple like about 15 miles clockwise. Does that hurt? Yes. And also, that's a topic we will also touch on after. But he turned, and then he goes, I just want to reiterate, he has been fondling me for the past 15 minutes. I avoided eye contact. And then he went, "Right, you can get changed now," and spun around. He went, "Okay, you can get changed now." Why aren't you looking now? Why do I need privacy for this bit? You
obviously didn't want to see how you put your clothes back on.
Honestly, if I'd never lactated before, I would be after that. He milks me like a cow. So, whoa. Not to put anybody off getting their boobs checked, though.
No, you should.
Yeah, because now I've got to go through fucking all sorts. But, yeah, it was crazy.
I feel like every time we go to the doctors together, something weird happens.
Something terrible happens.
Every time we're together, something weird happens.
Yeah, it's rough. But, to talk the nipple thing I wanted to talk about, I found out I've got sad nipple syndrome. Okay. I know it sounds fake, but it's very real. So basically, now for people who don't have this, it's going to sound insane.
I don't think I have this, so it's going to sound insane.
So when somebody touches your nipple, Emmy, asking for the crowd, when somebody touches your nipple, does it arouse you?
Yeah.
Staying away from you. I hope I never brush against them.
Okay. Well, I don't think that would arouse.
No, I think arousal, or some people it just doesn't do anything for.
Okay.
No?
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, when somebody touches my, and it's going to sound insane, when somebody touches my nipple, I get an overwhelming sense of dread and nostalgia. That sounds like, what do you mean?
Yeah, facts. What do you
mean?
And
I thought, this can't be right. My body must just be wired wrong.
Yeah.
Turns out it's a thing. Because I was talking to somebody about it the other day, one of my friends, and I said, "Oh, I don't like it," because she was like, "Oh, I didn't really know what to do because I'm seeing this other guy and he's got this thing about boobs." He kept squeezing my nipples, so I didn't know how to tell him. I really didn't like that. It makes me feel a bit like scared. And I said,
"Me too.
You've got the same thing as me." Googled it. It's called sad nipple syndrome. It's a thing.
Mm-mm.
And the only way that they say you can resolve sad nipple syndrome
is to get happy nipples.
To get happy nipples. But do you want to know how you get happy nipples?
Yeah, I do.
Exposure therapy. So you're meant to...
Oh, Georgie, you're in for a treat.
This is exactly what happened. I turned to her and I said, "I've just been looking." Because bearing in mind, I don't like feeling fear and dread. So I don't have to touch my fucking nipples.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And I said, "It's saying here that the only way I can get better is if my nipples are that's the part I got to." And she said, "Give it here." She said, "No worries, I've got this." I wanted to just, because if anyone out there has got sad nipples like me,
if you need any advice,
yeah,
she knows.
My advice is just avoid getting them touched. Just don't do it. I was thinking about even getting like nipple covers, to wear underneath my bra, because sometimes even when my bra brushes them, I just think, oh, I could cry.
I've got another funny story actually. Do you want to hear it?
Go on.
Basically, remember my cousin's wedding?
No one's going to tell me, bro. Yeah.
My mother, right, wears a lovely dress to this wedding. She looks beautiful. But she don't want to wear a bra because it's backless. So she puts on these fucking, I don't know what they're called. What they call nipple stickers?
Lipsticks.
Lipsticks.
No, I just made that up. Like titty tape type thing.
Yeah, but they just cover your nipples, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, she's dancing around. Comes to the end of the night. It's like 10:30. She's been dancing. She's been sweating. She's been having a great time. She turns to me. She says, "Emmy," and I said, "Yeah." She said, "Something stuck to my leg." I said, "What do you mean stuck to your leg?" And she said, "Something is stuck on my leg." And I said, "Right, okay, well, what is it?" So off she goes. She reaches up her dress to get what's ever stuck to her leg. She pulls it out. It's a fucking lipstick. I said, "Terrible news. How does that slip down there then?"
Staying on this nipple thing, because we've been talking about nipples for about 40 minutes. I've got another thing to talk to you about nipples.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's a nipple kind of day.
So I breastfed for a very long time with my daughter. Not my daughter, she won't wean herself off it, but so I used to get like cracked nipples and stuff, didn't I? I used to get cracked nipples and stuff. And at one point it got very bad. It wasn't like very bad, but it was like the sorest they'd ever been. I was like, this can't be right. I was putting cream on them and that. Anyway, I've gone into the toilet.
I remember this so vividly. Why she texts me, I'll never know.
So beforehand, I was making a bit of a fruit salad situation. I had strawberries, I had kiwis, I had all sorts in this salad anyway. I've gone upstairs to go for a wee, and what was I wearing? Oh, I had it was a onesie thing on, and so obviously my tits are coming out, and anyway, I unzipped myself. Imagine my nipple falls to the ground. I said, "It's happened." I said, "My tits fell off. My nipple is on the bathroom floor." But yeah, I panicked. I said, "My nipple's on the floor." I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I picked my nipple up. I picked up my nipple. I've been like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna have to reattach it." I would like to clarify context. At this point, I hadn't even looked down.
She said, "That pink thing on the floor is obviously my nipple. I must put it on ice and take it to the
then I also skipped looking at it before I started Googling, can nipples grow back? I said, I don't just want one nipple for the rest of my life. Anyway, I'm still carrying it about. I've gone into my roommate. I'm like, look, my nipples come up. She's got a bit closer. She said, "Molly, that's a piece of strawberry." I've looked down. As luck would have it, my nipple was still attached, but I went through 7 stages of grief. I was
as she was.
I messaged everyone before I'd even looked. I said, "Guys, my nipples come off." But that was so scary. Especially because I caught myself a bit on the tip and I thought I've zipped my nipple off.
I've zipped my nipple off, that's funny.
But that was rough anyway. But this is what I mean. Sometimes you wake up and have a good day, and other times you wake up and your nipple's on the bathroom.
Sometimes you wake up and zip your nipple off.
These things do happen. After we've been talking about the nipples for a while, I'd like to now give you my ickle stick of the week.
As you should. What is it? We've decided that for the ickle sticks and the dickheads or date 'em, she's not going to tell me what it is, because if she does, the reaction that I have is not as pure.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got 2 this week. The first one is ickle stick if the person you are with is obsessed with a celebrity, like has a Twitter account dedicated to them, or goes to every event they're at. Like say it's like somebody doing a show, like a singer, they go to every single show they do. They are like everything about them, rooms decorated.
Basically, I think it would have to be an ick for me.
Could you still stick?
I think it would be an ick, but I could stay. I don't think I would leave, but I think it would definitely be an ick. And I'll tell you what, I just don't understand, right? I get wanting to go and see your favourite artist, or going to, I don't know, one a year, or one every time they do a tour, whatever. Yeah. But what I do not understand, an example of this is, do you remember, the lesbians out there might remember, but do you remember when Fletcher went on tour? I went to one of her shows, But on TikTok, there was this. She obviously did the whole human mic stand thing, didn't she?
Yeah.
And there was this one girl that went to every single show, and for every single show she went to, she paid to go to the meet or greet every single time.
Mm.
Now, this shit's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap.
And once you've done it once,
You've already met them, love.
you've already met them, and you're also...
It's this weird, like, parasocial relationship people have, though, where it's like, do you know what that means?
No.
So shall we delve in? Parasocial relationship, Emmy Jane Bailey.
Mhm.
Oh, not the full name on the pod.
I
Don't
can't
stalk
be
her,
doing the
don't stalk her, don't get a parasocial relationship with Emmy. Is when you watch somebody on screen and you feel like you know them.
Mm.
You feel like they're your friend, you know. So then you get very invested in their lives and you think, like, I'll meet them a few times after the show, then I remember them, and then I'm like, I'm ingrained in their brain, they
Yeah.
remember me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But part of me is like, is that not slightly psychotic behaviour?
I think, my view on this, my girlfriend loves Taylor Swift. She paid £370 to go see Taylor Swift. But she went once. She said if she went to another show, she would go again. She would only go to one show.
Mm.
And she's got like vinyls, a couple of bits, but she's not like, she has a life outside of Taylor Swift. So I feel like there is a level.
There is a level, and I understand it. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. Like, people are
I
like...
think if you're a big fan, then like, that doesn't give me the ick, really.
Mm.
But I love Amy Winehouse. I can't really exactly go to the shows, R.I.P. But I love Amy Winehouse. I've said I'll get a tattoo of Amy Winehouse. I have a lot of Amy Winehouse stuff.
I get that. But I just think when you're taking it a little bit too far...
When you think that they're your friend...
Yeah, they're not.
No.
And in the most respectful way.
They probably do love you, because they love all their fans.
But they love their fans.
Yeah.
They don't love you. They don't know you from Adam Love.
It does give me the ick a little bit.
Yeah, it does give me the
So
ick a little bit.
you would be... It could stick if it wasn't too insane, but if it was too insane, you'd be gone. Okay,
Yeah.
fair. Right, my second one.
Oh, there's two.
Now, this was a very specific one because I saw it happening yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I was out, and there was this girl, not in our group, in a different group,
Mm-hmm.
who was like filming everything. So everything that was going on, she'd be like, guys, hang on, don't do that yet, let me film it. Right. And when you've had a few drinks, you know, people film a lot of things, but it was like, and then their food came out. No, don't eat it. Let me take a picture. Don't eat it yet. Let me take a picture. And then she was like filming her, who I assume was her boyfriend, and was like, babe. So I thought it was her boyfriend. But she was like, babe, okay, so I'm going to film you now, and I need you to be like, this is my first drink, and then when we have your last drink, because we're doing a TikTok trend. And I thought, okay. Yeah, that's normal. But he was like, hi, I'm whatever.
Blah, blah, blah.
And this is my first drink. And she was like, no, more enthusiasm, and we'll film it again.
Right.
So my ick or stick is, could you be with somebody whose life is social media?
It's a difficult one.
It is a difficult one because you got blocked off Instagram.
Yeah, facts. So that's where I struggle, because at the minute I don't really know where I stand with social media and relationships. I feel like I would wonder whether this person was
fake.
Yeah. But I don't know. I've never really been with somebody where their whole life is social media.
Yeah, and I understand like wanting to take a picture of your food. I get it. I understand wanting to like, say you take a video where you're saying something specific and like, or it's a trend and you're like, oh no, wait, do that again. I get that. But it was everything. It'd be like they were all walking up the stairs and then they had to turn around at the top of the stairs and like be like, girls night out. And when they did it wrong, she'd be like, come back down. I was just like,
I don't think I could do that.
Oh,
I feel like if someone was doing that to me, I'd say, listen, piss off. No,
give me the ick.
I'll do it once, and if you don't get it, that's on you.
Yeah, no, I can't stand. I don't like it. I didn't like it not one bit.
No.
And I don't like to be like forced to be on camera. I prefer like the candid moments. Do you know what I mean?
And I also think as well, like an aspect of me now I'm a bit older, I feel the need to live in the moment. I don't go on my phone as much.
She feels the need to live in the moment. When she's holding a man's legs up in the air off the floor, she doesn't need her phone. She doesn't need her phone. She's living in the moment. She's looking out a bathroom window at the scenery.
Looking at the ocean. Do you know what I mean?
That's the sea.
Same, but different.
The geographers are going to be fuming.
Why?
Because I think they know about the water.
Anyway, I think...
Ick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
it'd be an ick for me.
I agree.
I'm glad we cleared that up. So it'd be 2 icks this week.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even ick, it was just a massive fucking mindfuck.
Yeah, facts. We love the drama, that's why I'm funny.
So I have a dickheads or date them.
Mm-hmm.
Zayn Malik.
Dickhead or date them, Zayn Malik.
Me personally, depends how much he was paying. Because obviously you take one look at me, you want to give me money.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't really find him attractive, and I'm not invested
I
in
don't
him
know if he's
either.
done anything.
No, I don't think there's anything that would like stick out where I'd be like, absolutely the fuck not. But I also don't really find him attractive, and I don't really like. I'm not a fan of his,
Yeah.
so there would be no reason for
Yeah,
me to.
even though this isn't just because she's a lesbian, this is just because you can still find men.
So I
attractive.
don't think he's a dickhead, but I also don't want to
Wouldn't
date
date
him.
them.
Is there a mutual ground?
Neither. So with Zayn Malik,
Here she goes. Story time.
you have a story.
Last one to conclude the pod.
I do have a story for everybody listening, and I hope my friend, who is the reason behind this story,
Is listening.
is listening. So
And I
you
know
can
she
laugh
is
along.
because she streams it to her TV.
She streams us to the telly, guys. Get on her level. That's the parasocial relationship we're talking about. We're on her telly. And she's been in my house.
Yeah.
So anyway, me and were on a night out. We're having a good time.
Back in the day, this was.
We were surviving and thriving. Not one or the other.
Both.
So, we're out. We're having a few drinks. We're having a good time. Time comes for a cheeky unbelief rollie in the smoking area. I said, now's the time.
You had to go and
Now,
say
I
that,
would
didn't you?
like to preface this story by saying me and were not in the right state of mind. We were
We've been
clouded.
being a bit
We were
naughty.
clouded with gone into the smoking area. Stealth, Nottingham.
If you know, you know.
You know.
Dirty bastards.
Stealth, Nottingham. Imagine our surprise. Zayn Malik sat on a bench. I said,
Oh, what's he
isn't
doing
this
here?
our lucky day? Not only is he here, it's almost like everyone around us hasn't even noticed him. Zayn Malik, part of One Direction until he wasn't. And I was also thinking, crazy, because the Directioners went through that stage where, not me, because I wasn't one, but went through that stage where people started cutting themselves when they found out that Zayn Malik smoked. I thought, this is not the place for you to be.
And I also think that if Zayn Malik is in stealth, how have people not noticed?
How do people not thought?
Crazy behaviour. I mean, I know we're probably rather intoxicated, but still.
Yeah. So turns round to me. Bloody Zayn Malik over there. I've turned second glance. I said, he is. That is almost unbelievable, I would say.
Almost.
Now, the drinks are continuing to flow. I'm asking this man, may I say, many questions about One Direction. You know, oh my god, how does it feel knowing that people have cut themselves over you having a fag?
How's Harry Styles?
How's Harry Styles? Oh my god, isn't it all crazy how you all started separately but then you all got together? I made him sing for us. He was singing, "The sun makes you beautiful," between puffs. And I thought, you sound a bit different.
Yeah.
But I thought it was
Might just be the fags.
Yeah, I thought he's just got a sore throat.
Yeah.
Anyway. Is liking Zayn Malik.
As she would.
As you would. And he's saying all the right things, everything she wants to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes towards the end of the night, and I said, time to go home. Said, damn right, it's time to go home. To Zayn Malik's house in Snenton. If you know Snenton.
Now, this is where things should have started
to flag up.
Yes. They should have started noticing the red flags here.
Right. I'm in a taxi home. I have rang every single person I know, including my mother, to tell them.
Good old Lena.
My friend's gone back to Zayn Malik's house. They're going to have sex. Crazy.
She may bear Zayn Malik's child.
Yeah. This is going to be the turning point for our lives, because I'm about to sell this to the Sun. Alert the media.
Facts.
And then, oh my god, what was everyone else saying? Nobody said anything. Was she not getting swarmed all night? No, it was a bit weird, really, but
no one noticed.
But I think he just blends in with the Nottingham crowd, because Zayn Malik would.
And also, Stealth is a very busy place.
It's a very busy place, anyway.
And it's got very dim lighting.
Very dim lighting, very. So, the next day, I'm woken up by a phone call. One eye open, I say, hello, famous lady. Hello, did you make a sex tape? Are we going to make some money? Molly, terrible news.
Terrible, terrible news.
I said, huh? She said, terrible news, Mum. I have outdone myself this time. We are never going out again. Oh.
And do you know what? They shouldn't ever be allowed ever
And do you
again.
know what? In some point of my still drunk, just woken up state, I thought, she's upset because the paparazzi are outside. That was the first thing my mind went to. She's upset because she's realised now that she's had sex with a celebrity, and you can't get much better than that.
You can't. And also, she's now going to become famous. So now what? She wasn't mentally prepared for this.
I said, where are you then? She went, I'm in the kitchen/bedroom. I said, what? She said, it's a bedsit.
Breaking news, Zayn Malik owns a bedsit in Sneinton.
It's a bedsit.
Second red flag.
She said you could be having a wank and frying an egg at the same time. Oh, it's criminal. Right, so I said, right, well, why are you talking to me? Then get back into bed with Mr. Malik, right?
Yeah, she would.
She pans the camera around at me. Now it's dark still. I said, I can't really see. She said, she is not subtle with this. The man is Sparko in bed. She got the phone, turned the brightness full way up, got it this far away from his face. Does that look like fucking Zayn Malik to you? I said, now I'm seeing them in a different light.
No.
Not really. But I recognise him. Where's he from? She said, well, judging by this. Camera pans round again. A Premier jacket. It's the local boss man. The local boss man from down the road. Turns out, Zayn Malik does not live in a bedsit instead.
No, it's not that shocking, really, when you think about it.
But, so, I said, maybe we've just got this all a bit confused because we were asking him, he was telling us he was Zayn Malik, he was telling him questions. Anyway, she said, wait there, I'll get to the bottom of this.
Her investigative skills came out.
Because, you've gone to bed thinking you've shagged Zayn Malik and you've woken up realising you've shagged the local boss man. So,
I mean, the only perk coming from this story really is that she's going to get a reduction in tobacco prices.
Yeah. So she puts the phone under the pillow, so I am still listening in. And she goes, wake up! And he's like, hi, beautiful. Don't be calling me beautiful.
Don't get it twisted.
You told me you were Zayn Malik.
You've barefaced lied.
Are we still on this then? She said. Excuse me, Mr. Man. What do you mean, are we still on this? Oh, I thought we were just role-playing. I thought you and your mate were role-playing. This was a thing you were into. Seems to be working for you. She said, it would work for anyone if it was Zayn Malik. You thought you met Zayn Malik in a fucking smoking area and he's playing tonsil tennis with you. It would work for anyone. He said, oh no, I'm not Zayn Malik. And she went, imagine my surprise. He goes, no, I'm not Zayn Malik. But I'm glad you think so. She said, I must leave.
It's his time for
She said,
me
you're a
to
lovely
go.
man, and thank you for everything. But the thing is, a lot of people, at this point as well, it was dead embarrassing because I woke up to all these messages. Oh my fucking god, she shagged Zayn Malik, and I've had to be like, guys, I was wrong.
It was all a lie.
It was all a lie. Skipped for a few years later. My friend's on Tinder. I was on Tinder. You'll never guess what I found. The local boss man was on Tinder.
Now he's back.
Get on Tinder. Get your bag. Invite people to your shop. Give them £3 vapes. Do what you need to do. But one of his things was, my claim to fame is 2 girls once thought I was Zayn Malik. And I thought, you little. Maybe, just maybe, I've noticed that you're Mohammed.
It's just unbelievable, really.
It was unbelievable because a lot of people calling us sick. Well, how didn't you know? Zayn Malik wouldn't be in stealth. Weirder things have happened in this world. My nipple fell off in a toilet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, facts.
She shit the bed. Weirder things have happened.
She's traumatised.
It was a very
and that's
traumatising
understandable.
situation.
So no, it wasn't Zayn Malik.
It wasn't Zayn Malik.
She was disappointed.
Well, to be fair, honestly, what's going to get you more in life? Zayn Malik, who thinks he's better than you, whatever, or the local boss man who can give you free like
True.
sweets. But then I just think, would Zayn Malik ever get you them? He'd probably get
not.
you like a Tesla. I don't want a Tesla.
I do.
I don't want a Tesla because I had an Uber that was a Tesla the other day and I didn't know how to get in it.
And she got travel sick. Terrible news.
Yeah, because you don't feel anything.
There's
I
a
don't
thing
feel
about this,
anything but nausea.
There's a thing about people getting travel sick in Teslas.
Do you know what it is? It's because Elon Musk invented them and he is a horrible little man. So I think every time you get into it now, you just feel the sickness and hatred for the man. And also because you can't feel anything. But you can. You can feel that, like, you're moving, because you're moving. But you can't feel that you're moving. So your body's like, what? And then you're just like, in the back of the car.
I'm floating.
Yeah, and then the screen comes up and it shows you what's around you, doesn't it?
Anyhow.
That was us. That was our week.
Would
Would you ever believe we'd have that many stories about nipples? And I've got another one, and it involves a kitchen sink.
I think we'll save that
Nibble in
one
the
for
kitchen
next time,
sink.
shall we?
So yeah,
We want to know if you want to hear my
terrible.
most recent.
And I feel like
trauma.
if you do want to hear this, then it will be a case of we'll have a podcast that week, but we'll also have this uploaded as a separate story thing.
As a separate story time.
Because it's going to take a while. But...
So if you do want to hear, it'll be a case of 2 podcasts in 1 week.
Oh, you lucky devil. You lucky devil.
Extra work for us, but for you, we'll do it.
And I also hope you know that during this extra podcast, Em will obviously be doing, you'd think, a majority of the talking. But I think I have more opinions on the situation
she has a lot more to say
than
on
she
it than
did.
I do.
Yeah. So it could be 45 minutes of me speaking, you just hear her squeak in the background.
I'd say,
She's just already holding another man's legs in the air.
Yes, this is what happened.
A people pleaser at heart. Always went the pause.
Anyway, that concludes episode 3.
Hope everyone else is having a very good, amazing week, and I hope that all of you, if you can, please do travel to Big Tesco Bulwell, no matter where you are in the world, let alone the country, the world.
And Big Tesco Bulwell, if you're listening, we'll be there soon.
And so will all the pigeons that fly inside too, especially now you've not got a wall. That's crazy. Anyway, goodbye to the pigeons, goodbye to the girls, goodbye to the gays, goodbye to the ones that swing both ways. Wish bad on all men listening, other than the ones that pay me. Thank you.
Facts. And we will catch
good
you
evening
next week. Ta-ta.
Bye bye.